Yeah. Somebody once famously said that if your dreams don't scare you a little bit, you're not thinking big enough. Someone else, was it Thoreau or Emerson, one of those, said that most men and probably women, obviously, also it's the same for both, live lives of quiet desperation. See, we only get, I mean, there may or may not be reincarnation, but we only get, as far as we know, this one chance at life, and we want to live it. We don't want to do crazy things. There's a fine line between bold and reckless. Bold is confidence. Fortune, as famously said, does favor the bold, but it doesn't favor the reckless. People that do crazy things and wind up hurting themselves or going to jail or whatever they do. But you do have to take intelligent risks in life, and those are going to scare you sometimes. Only if you want to be successful. If you just want to live a boring life and just do less than your potential and just glide by, not have great relationships, not have great jobs, careers, whatever, then you can just kind of coast through life a little bit. I mean, you'll still have to work hard, but you know, in terms of being scared, a lot of it is conditioning. Like we have the reptilian part of the brain, which is basically our fear-based part, and then we have the rational part. But because our subconscious creates our reality, it's not what we consciously think; it's what we more subconsciously believe. So people that are confident, they can have a quiet confidence. They don't have to go around boasting, showing people how great they are. They just believe in their vision and they're going to stick to it. A lot of it is kind of riding the ups and downs. It's like the same thing in the stock market. If you believe in a stock, you know it's a great stock. Fundamentally, it's a great stock. The story is a great stock. The execution is great stock. You can ride the lows. That's why they say even buy the dips. But if you don't believe in your dreams, if you don't believe in your vision, then you'll wind up becoming part of someone else's vision. You'll just be like, it's easier to follow someone else than to follow your own heart and mind. So, being scared is sometimes part of the equation. There's a famous saying, be scared but do it anyway. Feel the fear but do it anyway. Fear, the famous acronym, false evidence appearing real. This is different than real fear. Like, we have fear about putting our hands on a hot stove for a good reason because we'll get burnt. You have to be able to distinguish like irrational fear or fear that's just like, of things that are probably never going to happen versus fear versus legitimate. Yeah, don't step in front of a truck. Don't jump off a cliff. Those those are very, 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 very legitimate fears. They're there for a reason, and you have to question. Like you have to challenge your irrational fears. Like oh, if I speak, it's not always good to speak up. Like you have to be led by the spirit. Sometimes it's better to stay silent. But there are times when your spirit is telling you speak up, but your mind is telling you, oh, if this person doesn't like me, or if this person breaks up with me, or if this person fires me, I'll never get another job. I'll never get another relationship. Those may or may not be irrational fears. In many cases, they are rational fears because you probably will get another job. You probably will, or they probably won't fire you, or they might fire you, but it's you have to be able to distinguish between like scared and like do it anyway, and scared, yeah, this is really something stupid, I shouldn't do it. So a little bit of fear can be a good thing. It can push us out of our comfort zone. It's not good to walk around scared and anxious all the time, but a little bit of adrenaline sometimes makes us more motivated. It's like the famous curve between anxiety and performance. That if you have no arousal, no anxiety, then you have like no motivation, just lie in bed all day and do nothing. Then there's a moderate amount that is most beneficial, and then too much anxiety is debilitating. So it's not even anxiety; it's more just arousal, more just like excitement. And that's another thing. It's sometimes a rebranding exercise. It's like if you call feeling scared, then it's going to be inhibited. And if you call it excitement, then passion, motivation, love, joy, then it's going to be like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I love this feeling, because it's. And one thing I've tried to condition myself, like there's a lot of change going on in my life right now, is to kind of like be more excited about it as opposed to fearful. I'm kind of naturally, I wouldn't say a fearful person, but a cautious person. And when there's so much change going on in my life, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's nothing to hold on to. Sometimes God or life or whatever you want to call it props out the crutches that we're relying on one by one. Is kind of like, like they say proverbially, you're flying and building the airplane at the same time. But I think that you don't want to take on too much risk, but you want to take on a healthy amount of like intelligent risk. And then you want to be able to navigate psychologically, that fear. And, I'm trying to condition myself that when change happens, not when I force change to happen, but when it happens naturally, just kind of outside of my own actions, that to kind of ride with it, to trust life, that like, if I'm losing something, that something better, is coming along, that, what I lost was not for my best interest, kind of like the expression that, when one door closes, a window opens.